Level 1, the desk nobody wants. You are 22 years old. You have a degree, a blazer that still has the tag crease in it, and an offer letter from a firm most people have never heard of. You are not a trader yet. You are not an analyst. You are not even sure what you are. Your title says junior market maker. You say it confidently at family dinners. You smile when they nod. You don't tell them you spent the first 3 weeks doing nothing but watching a screen flash numbers at you like a slot machine that never pays out. The desk is loud. Not exciting loud. Pressure loud. The kind of noise that makes your jaw tight by 9 a.m. Your senior hands you a simple task. Quote prices on a small batch of options contracts. Bid. Ask. Spread. That's it. You think it's simple. You are wrong. The first time you misquote a spread, nobody yells. That's the terrifying part. They just look at you. A look that says you don't belong here yet. And maybe you don't. But you come back the next morning anyway. That's the only thing level 1 asks of you. Come back. Not brilliance. Not instinct. Not edge. Just presence. Just stubbornness. Just the willingness to sit inside discomfort and not flinch. Most people flinch. The ones who don't are still here at level 3. At night, you go home and your brain doesn't stop. The numbers follow you. The spreads follow you. You eat dinner and you're calculating implied volatility in your head without meaning to. Your girlfriend asks how your day was. You say fine. What you mean is I have no idea what I'm doing and I'm terrified someone is going to notice. This is level 1. It feels like a beginning. It is actually a filter. Level 2, the first real position. 3 months in. You've survived the filter. Now they give you something real. A small book. A set of instruments you are responsible for quoting throughout the day. Not a simulation. Not practice. Real capital. Real risk. Real consequences if you get it wrong. And you will get it wrong. Not catastrophically. Not yet. But you'll misread a volatility spike. You'll hold a position 2 seconds too long. You'll adjust a spread based on gut when the data said something different. Small errors. Expensive lessons. Here's what nobody tells you about this level. The money doesn't feel real yet. The numbers on your screen are so large that your brain refuses to process them as actual currency. You are managing positions worth more than your parents' house and your nervous system has not caught up to that fact. That disconnect is dangerous. Because the moment you stop feeling the weight of the number, you start making careless decisions. Your senior notices before you do. He pulls you aside after a session where you shaved 2 basis points off a spread you shouldn't have touched. He doesn't lecture you. He says one sentence. He says, in this business, every bad habit is expensive. Then he walks away. You think about that sentence for 6 weeks. At level 2 you are learning something that no textbook taught you. You are learning what it feels like to be wrong with other people's money on the line. That feeling is the most important education in this industry. It either makes you precise or it breaks you. The ones who get broken here leave quietly. They update their LinkedIn. They say they pivoted. But the truth is the pressure reached inside them and found something they didn't have. You have something they don't. You don't know what it is yet. But you stay. And staying is a skill. Level 3, the machine starts to make sense. 6 months. 8 months. Somewhere in there, something shifts. You stop fighting the flow and start reading it. It happens slowly, then suddenly. Like learning a language. For months it sounds like noise. Then one morning you wake up and realize you can hear sentences inside it. The order flow starts to speak to you. You see a cluster of orders hit the bid at a specific size and something in your gut says this is not retail. This is institutional. Something is moving. And you start positioning around it before the move confirms. You are right. Not always. But more than half the time. And in this business, being right more than half the time with good risk management is how fortunes are built. Your book grows. Your senior gives you more instruments. Your P&L starts to matter to other people beyond just you. You get mentioned in a weekly review. Not praised. Mentioned. In this world, being mentioned is a form of praise. Here is the cost of level 3 that nobody discusses. Your social life quietly rearranges itself. You don't announce it. You don't make a dramatic choice. But one Friday night, your friends are at a bar somewhere and you're at your desk studying gamma exposure patterns because you have a major options expiry next week and you don't want to get caught wrong-footed. Your friends stop inviting you to things eventually. Not out of malice. They just assume you're busy. And you are. But there's a version of you that wanted to be invited anyway. That version gets quieter at level 3. You tell yourself it's temporary. If you've made it this far, drop a comment right now. What level are you living at? Because it's about to get significantly darker from here. Level 4, when they stop watching you. Somewhere between month 10 and month 14, you realize something uncomfortable. Nobody is watching you anymore. Not because you failed. Because you don't need to be watched. You are trusted now. And trust in this industry is not a warm feeling. It is weight. It is a quiet transfer of responsibility that sits on your chest from the moment you log in until the moment the market closes. You are running a real book. Real size. Real exposure. And on the first morning that you sit down and the screens load and you feel nothing but clarity, you understand that you have crossed a line that cannot be uncrossed. You are no longer learning to be a market maker. You are one. The decisions come faster now. A stock gaps on unexpected news. Your book is suddenly offside. You don't call someone. You don't ask. You manage it. You adjust your hedges in under 30 seconds. You eat a small loss to prevent a large one. You breathe through it and move on. That reaction, that cold, calculated, 30-second response, took 18 months to build. And it cost you things you cannot name yet. Your relationship with risk changes at level 4. The fear doesn't disappear. The fear gets compressed. Stored. You process it in real time and file it somewhere deep and keep moving. For years this feels like strength. Later you will understand it was also training yourself to disconnect. But that's a different level's problem. At level 4, you feel powerful. More powerful than you've felt in your life. You sit in meetings and the senior traders listen when you speak. You have a view on volatility and people write it down. You are 24 years old and people with 20 years of experience are writing down what you say. This is intoxicating in a way that alcohol cannot touch. And like alcohol, it comes with a cost you don't see until later. Level 5, the first real loss. It will happen. There is no version of this career where it doesn't happen. You'll be managing a position you understand completely. You'll have your hedges right. Your exposure calibrated. Your risk metrics clean. And then something will occur that was not in your model. A central bank decision that broke consensus. A geopolitical event at 2 a.m. A liquidity vacuum in a market that should never go illiquid. And your book will move against you in a way that feels like the floor disappearing. The first major loss is unlike anything else in this business. It is not the money. You have stopped processing the numbers as real money. It is the feeling that the market saw something you didn't. That for all your skill, your calibration, your pattern recognition, the market simply humiliated you in front of your P&L statement. You sit very still after it happens. You do not panic. That surprises you. All those months of compression training pay off in this moment. You do not panic. You assess. You cut what needs cutting. You report it. You document it. Then you go home, and you sit in your apartment, and the silence is very loud. Nobody calls. Nobody checks in. In this world, you are expected to absorb it and return tomorrow at the same level. Any visible crack in your composure is information that travels faster than you want it to. You learn to make your face neutral. You learn to walk back in the next morning as though yesterday was simply a data point. This is the level where some people decide they are not built for this. Not because of the loss itself. Because of the silence around it. Because of the realization that you are alone inside this machine no matter how many people are on the desk with you. The loss was the test. How you come back is the result. Level 6, the strategy seat. You are 26, maybe 27. You have survived losses. You have had winning streaks that made you feel invincible. You have earned enough credibility that the firm starts including you in conversations you were not invited to before. They are talking about giving you strategy input. Not just executing quotes. Not just managing a book. Actually shaping how the desk approaches a sector, a vol surface, a product set. This is the seat everyone at level 1 thought they were interviewing for. This is where you realize how far the real seat actually was from where you started. At level 6, you are no longer reacting to the market. You are building a posture toward it. You are deciding, with real money and real institutional consequence, what the firm believes about where risk is mispriced. The cognitive load is extraordinary. Here is what level 6 does to your life outside the building. You stop being able to explain what you do to people who don't already know. Not because you're arrogant. Because the gap between your daily reality and most people's frame of reference has become genuinely unbridgeable in casual conversation. You try to explain a gamma squeeze to your cousin at a birthday party and you see their eyes glaze over before you finish the first sentence. So you stop trying. You develop two versions of yourself. The one at the desk, who is fully present and electric and precise. And the one everywhere else, who is slightly muted. Slightly elsewhere. Your family notices the second version more than you do. Your mother asks on a Sunday phone call if you're okay. Not sick okay. Really okay. And you say yes because you are performing fine by every objective metric you know how to use. But you haven't thought about what okay means outside of PNL in a very long time. That is the hidden cost of level 6. You win publicly and you disappear privately. Subscribe now, because what happens after this level is something most financial content has never been honest enough to show you. Level 7, the liquidity engine. You are not trading anymore. Not in the way you once understood trading. You are a liquidity engine. The firm routes significant flow through you. Institutional clients, funds, asset managers, entities managing capital on a scale that would make your level 1 self's brain simply refuse to function, these clients depend on your desk to provide markets in size. You are on the other side of trades that move prices. Think about that. When a major fund needs to offload a position worth hundreds of millions, they need someone to take the other side. That someone, now, is you. Not alone. But you are part of the mechanism. You have to price that risk. Right now. Under pressure. At a spread that keeps the client coming back. But also protects the firm. Too tight and you're subsidizing their exit. Too wide and they go elsewhere and the relationship bleeds. This precision, at this size, is what the market pays for. And the market pays very well. Your compensation at level 7 is a number that would have seemed fictional to you at level 1. Bonus cycles that change your net worth in a single quarter. The money becomes real again, but in a different way than before. It stops being a reward and starts being a scoreboard. You compare. Not against others openly. But privately, constantly. You know the rough numbers of everyone at your level. You know who had a better quarter and why. That information lives in your head rent-free. The money brings something you didn't expect. Not happiness. Not peace. A higher baseline of anxiety. Because now you have something to lose. Real something. And losing it, the lifestyle, the status, the number, feels more threatening than any single trade loss ever did. Nobody tells you at level 1 that the more you have, the more afraid you become. The cage just gets more expensive. Level 8, the 100 million call. There are moments in this career that mark you permanently. This is one of them. A fund needs to exit a position. The size is significant. 9 figures. The kind of trade that, if handled wrong, moves the market against them and destroys value. The kind of trade that, if handled wrong by you, creates a loss that appears on a report that goes to the top of the firm. They call your desk. And then they route it to you specifically. Not your senior. You. The call lasts 4 minutes. You ask 3 questions. You price it. They accept. You work the position over the next several hours with the kind of focus that makes the rest of the world literally disappear. You eat nothing. You barely blink. Your body temperature runs slightly warm all day. You are operating at a level of concentration that most human beings never access in their entire lives. And you execute it cleanly. The trade settles. The position is managed. The client's exit was handled without a visible footprint in the market. The P&L is positive. The relationship is reinforced. Your head of desk says 2 words to you at the end of the day. Good work. That's it. 2 words. For a 9-figure trade executed over 6 hours at the highest levels of market precision your industry demands. 2 words. And here is the terrifying thing. Those 2 words mean more to you than almost anything anyone has said to you in years. Your frame of reference for validation has been so completely recalibrated by this environment that 2 words from a man who doesn't give compliments casually lands like a standing ovation. You go home that night and you sit with that. You realize your parents haven't heard your voice in 3 weeks. Your best friend from university has a new girlfriend you haven't met. Your apartment is extremely clean because you are never in it long enough to make a mess. You have executed a $100 million trade today. And you are having dinner alone. This is the level where success stops feeling the way you thought it would. Level 9, what you've become. Step back for a moment. Look at who walked in at level 1 and look at who is sitting here now. The person who misquoted a spread and felt the shame of that silent look from across the desk, do you remember them? They feel very far away. Almost fictional. What replaced them is something the market built. Precise. Controlled. Emotionally compressed. Highly capable. Difficult to read. Difficult to know. In the building, you are formidable. Junior traders study your positioning. The desk runs better when you're present. Your risk instincts are the product of thousands of hours of live exposure to conditions that cannot be replicated in any classroom or simulation. Outside the building, you are largely invisible. Not to the world. You have money, status. A life that looks extraordinary from the outside. But to the people who used to know you before the machine had you, you are someone they recognize by face but can no longer reach. And the hardest part of level 9? You are not sure if you miss who you were. Because who you were couldn't do what you do now. Who you were would have frozen on that 100 million call. Who you were would have cracked under the silence of the first major loss. The machine took parts of you it needed in exchange for capability. That trade was never written down. You never signed anything. But somewhere around level 4, you agreed to it. And by level 9 the exchange is complete. There are people at this level who make peace with it. Who decide that what they built is worth the cost and they carry that with a kind of quiet dignity. And there are people at this level who sit in very nice apartments and feel an emptiness that the scoreboard does not address. Who have everything the level 1 version dreamed of and feel, inexplicably, less than they expected to feel. Both groups look the same from the outside. This is the level nobody posts about. Level 10, the final truth. You have been in markets long enough to have seen crashes that didn't make the history books. Liquidity events that lasted 4 minutes and aged people 10 years. You've seen the smartest traders on the desk get destroyed by a position they were absolutely certain about. You've seen mathematical models built by people smarter than anyone you'll ever meet fail catastrophically in real conditions. You know, at a cellular level, something that most people only understand theoretically. The market does not care about you. Not your career. Not your track record. Not your methodology. Not your certainty. Not your intelligence. Not your 10 years of compounded experience. The market does not know your name. And that realization, truly felt, not just intellectually understood, is the most clarifying thing this career will ever give you. It removes ego in a way that nothing else can. Because you have tried, at various levels, to impose your will on this system. You have been right enough times to feel conviction. You have been wrong in ways that humbled you completely. The final truth of this career is not a strategy or a system or a secret formula. The final truth is that discipline, over time, beats certainty. That risk management, over time, beats brilliance. That the traders who last, who build real legacies at these desks, are not the ones who were the smartest in the room. They are the ones who remained the most honest. With the data. With their own limitations. With what they didn't know. The ones who survived every level were not the ones who never got scared. They were the ones who were scared and stayed precise anyway. You understand that now. The machine didn't take everything from you. It left you with something rare. Something that cannot be bought at level 1 and cannot be faked at level 10. A relationship with uncertainty that most human beings never develop. A genuine comfort with not knowing, paired with a rigorous system for operating inside that uncertainty anyway. That is the product of this career. Not the money. Not the trades. Not the 2-word compliment after a 9-figure execution. The ability to function with clarity inside chaos. That is what the machine made you. And if you'd like to debate whether the cost was worth it, that debate lives quietly in you already. It has for a while. Comment below if this hit somewhere you didn't expect it to. Because somewhere right now, someone is 22 years old. They have a blazer with a tag crease still in it. They have an offer letter from a firm most people have never heard of. They think the job is about making money. They think the goal is the number. They don't know yet what the machine will ask of them. They don't know the levels that are waiting. They don't know that by the time they reach the place they're dreaming about right now, the dream will have changed shape so many times they'll barely recognize it. The machine is patient. It has been here longer than any of us. And it is waiting. Subscribe, because the next hidden ladder goes somewhere most people never look.